Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get started.
Straight from New York, yo, this here's
You are now tuned in to Aljo, the funk master. Watch your grill, you'll get knocked out cold fast and talking. Now we talking facts. Whether mount or off the back, you in trouble, came to burst your bubble. I don't shelter punches, they find home on your mind about a double. This the weekly scraps. You don't need a map, GPS, I'm right here to lead a dash. The world doesn't know it needs, but I grow the seeds, planted for name and the fame. Only legacy remains. Remember the name, Aljamain Sterling. It ain't motherfucker.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Weekly Scraps, episode 222. Bro,
Man, this podcast has come a long way.
very, very long way.
Ever
We got
since
two
I
nice
joined-
chairs.
Ever-
Two nice chairs?
Ever since I joined, views are up.
Wow.
Hate comments are up. They're bullying me.
Who's bullying you?
The commenters, 3 of them.
3 of them? Is the same. You see the same culprits over and over and over.
And then I respond to them, and then they're cool.
Actually, I gotta pull up the fight card because we got a big fight this weekend. UFC 285. Let me go to topology because it's just easier to read. But obviously the main event is Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane.
Surreal. As
Surreal,
Chael Sonnen would say.
because he's surreally in this position. That was a cheesy joke.
That was terrible.
I'm sorry,
Wow.
guys. I'm
I
sorry.
think Ciryl Gane, if John beats him, he has a shot in Mr. Olympia.
If John beats him,
Yeah.
he has a shot at Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
His physique is so gorgeous that it's just like,
John?
no, Gane. If
Oh.
John beats Gane, Gane could go to Mr. Olympia.
If Gane beats John.
No. If John beats Ciryl Gane,
Okay. He's going to go
then
to...
Ciryl Gane could take another career in bodybuilding and go to Mr. Olympia. What are you not getting?
Why would he do that when he's making so much money fighting and kicking ass?
Because if he fails again, then maybe I'm
Again.
just saying, like, he has other options, you know? This
This is... I actually hear people say this a lot.
this is good to have options.
When you don't win, it's like if you don't win the belt or you lose the belt, people automatically say like, well, what are you going to do now? Well, my job before having the belt was fighting and making money. So why would that change? If I could fight and continue to make money.
Yeah, but like I would think like once you reach these highs in your career and then it's like you come back down to earth, it's just not. I would think the motivation's there to a lesser degree. I would think.
Based on...
It'd be like if you sent me to go work with some like amateur. Like you
Okay.
fired me and the only guy who wanted to work with me was an amateur. I'd be like, well, this isn't the same.
Yeah.
And it would be less motivating.
But would the
And I
pay
would
be the
probably
same or more?
It's less when you're not fighting for a title, right?
That's true. But if that is your main source of income, you know, when we say less, you're talking about Ciryl Gane probably making $1 million for this fight, flat.
Yeah.
Maybe more, hopefully. I want to see these guys all get paid. So hopefully he's making more than that. Versus a non-championship pay, what's he probably making? $400K, $500K as a non-champ. So when you look at it like that, it's like, well, can I just say I'm just not going to fight and go fight and not go fight and then just make money doing what?
Bodybuilding.
You think he's going to go right into bodybuilding
No.
and right out of the gate make almost $1 million? You know what I mean?
No,
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
No. I mean, it's just a stupid thing I'm saying. But it was like a joke.
Well, no, I've heard people say this, and I'm like, well,
Oh, really?
would you just quit your job if you didn't get the raise?
Maybe.
Or if you didn't get the position that you applied for? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't, because it's just like life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
there could be another opportunity for Ciryl. But I know what you're saying, and other people as well. But
I mean, don't you think, like,
I like the bag, bro.
if the title ever was lost,
Yeah.
don't you think it would be a little less exciting in the next fight? Where you're just...
See, I'm different, man. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I fought without the belt. I fought for $500, and I was happy all the time. Now the only thing that's changed is that I'm older. I got to pay my bills. So as a responsible adult, I need to make sure that I'm bringing in enough income to cover my expenses, and let alone that I'm helping out family and stuff like that. So with that being
There's
said,
plenty of motivation.
it's plenty. It's not even just that. It's just like, what else would I do? And then what else would I do to make money?
Sell houses.
I could sell houses, but it's nowhere near the same. And I think even Al would say the same thing. It's the same in the sense of like you get in what you put in, but in the sense of the income that you would make is nowhere near a comparison. Unless you start getting into $1 million luxury homes, which could be commissions that you can make $250,000 for just selling a house.
That'd be dope.
That would be pretty sick. I'm not mad at that.
That would be amazing. That's like a fight, and you don't have to get punched in the face.
Yeah, 100%. But
or like,
I'm not selling homes like that.
nah,
So it's just
that's
like
a different game.
For me to get into that space and pretty much start from kind of ground zero. I'm like, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'd just rather fight, make my money.
Hurt your brain cells.
Yeah.
No free clout. Aquafina.
As you shout them out.
Yeah. They can't even see the bottle.
I don't know if they can or not.
But all right, so
if Gane were not to win against Jones,
yeah,
I think it would be ill-advised if he were to just say, I'm just done.
Oh yeah,
because
you can just keep fighting and
you can just keep fighting, keep making money, because that's what we're prize fighters at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah, like the end of the goal. If I feel like there's a man I can never beat, yeah, that's gonna suck. But it's gonna be like, well, am I mad and am I getting all these zeros after every time I compete? I'm not really mad at that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, most corporate jobs, there's no like level in the field that you can make the type of money you guys make.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, oh, fighter pay, this whole thing, but it's still like hundreds of thousands of dollars for a training camp and a fight.
Well, only if you are in a championship or contender opportunity slot. Usually. And even the guys at 35 and 25 and even 45, we tend to not make as much money as the heavier weight classes.
Yeah. I don't get that in today's age.
I think we're way more exciting and we're way more skilled.
You're way more skilled.
I don't know.
It's not like heavyweight boxing where like I could see the appeal there versus the lower weight classes.
Yeah.
But like you guys are way more skilled. The biggest star in the sport was a featherweight when he became the biggest star in the sport.
Yeah.
So it's like I never get why like you guys get like the scraps, I feel like, you know what I mean?
And that all happened with Conor's single-handedly self-promoting himself, and then the UFC kind of just rolled that coattail and just said, hey, let's blow this up while he's doing it, because we got ourselves a megastar where we can cash out big.
Yeah.
But it's like if they did that for individual fighters here and there, help blow them up, it's like I feel like they can all cash out big from both sides.
But I've heard like they don't want to do that now.
They've never wanted to do that.
They don't want to make a guy bigger than the company.
No, of course. They never wanted to do that.
And now Conor has all this power.
Yeah.
And basically can do whatever he wants. Like
kicking people off of a show because Conor's going to get some Conor things.
Yeah.
Which I get.
I get it.
Because he is Conor.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. But what were we talking about? We were talking about something before that. The corporate job. So, yeah, it's like some of these other guys. It's like if I'm going to go back to like making 20 and 20 from what I'm making now, I'm going to be like, okay, now I'm a lot less motivated. A lot less.
Yeah.
Because after taxes and paying coaches and expenses just to get to the fight, to go from preparing and putting X amount of money because it's a bigger fight, so you want to make sure you're extra prepared, and spending that and then needing to go back down, and then the money that you're going to make doesn't even cover that, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little different. That would be a big difference.
I guess like fighting for like hundreds of thousands against a top guy in the division, that's not too much different than what you're already doing.
Yeah. It's not the greatest in terms of like we're in the pinnacle, we're in the best sport, but it's something that you could definitely be happy about because obviously I'm from the ages of where we were making no money and I was damn near fighting for free. I was pretty much using the money that I would make to hopefully pay for most of what I had to pay just to get to the fight.
That's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
So I come from that golden age where ignorance was bliss, and now it's like you get a piece of the pie, you're kind of like, oh, that pie is good, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, going back down, I feel like the way I would think is like...
But it's not that significant for him.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not like he's getting championship pay. The only time he got that was when he was the interim champ.
Yeah. I mean, so then I guess if Ciryl Gane loses, what would be next for him?
Just keep whooping everyone's ass. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Or say, release me, let me go somewhere else.
I mean,
but what do you do when you go somewhere else? Are you going to make the same amount of money? I don't know.
So, like, okay, if Jon wins, he fights Stipe next, he said.
Yeah.
And then if he beats Stipe, it's like the heavyweight division's like what else is there really that can contend with Jon Jones?
Maybe Curtis Blaydes, Pavlich, even though Pavlich kind of got crushed in his UFC debut, but he seems to have kind of streaking upwards now.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be a good fight, actually.
Who else is
Curtis
there?
Blaydes would be a great fight.
Curtis Blaydes is the only one that really comes to mind that could challenge Jon. But is that a fight that's going to get Jon Jones excited? Probably not.
I don't know. If he's got this big contract, I'm like, let me press this button as much as I can.
Yeah, but there's a difference in that. Like, when people tell me, like, oh, you didn't clear out the division, you're acting like you defended the belt 10 times and you want to go up and saying that the division has nothing for you. I'm like, to clarify that, I didn't mean like there's no good fighters in the bantamweight division. These guys are all killers from top 15, outside of the top 15, top 20, top 25, that are not even ranked, that are hammers. What I was talking about is I've beaten all these guys that they put in front of me. So at what point am I going to feel like this next challenge is going to get me excited to want to go through a grueling training camp to compete? And that's why I said Alexander Volkanovski at 145, the challenge of going up in weight, seeing how I would fare going up in weight with my frame now, and then seeing if I could actually compete with those guys and seeing if I'm as good as I think I am. And I think that's what life's all about. So when I say it like that, it's like that scares me, but that also motivates me to want to work hard in the room. Whereas like I'm fighting a young buck who probably grew up watching me. I remember watching the guys in the back room before the fights, and these were the old school guys, watching them like just in awe, like, oh, these guys are people I grew up watching. Now I'm the guy that people have grown up watching. So it's kind of like I don't get like excited about competing against them. It's like even like Dominic Cruz. I had always wanted to fight him because he was the guy that was just always the guy. Yeah. Undefeated for like 8 or 10 years.
That's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
And then now I'm training with the guy because we're not going to fight. So now I'm like, yo, this is cool for me to get to train with an idol of mine who I grew up watching. Yeah. And mimicked a lot of my style from. So just being elusive, realizing that you can fight without fighting, like fighting smart. Like you beat them up. Don't let them make it into a fight where both guys are going tit for tat. No. I'm going to beat you up. You're going to hold this whooping, and I'm going to go home, collect my money, and see you later. Thanks for trying.
And so he kind of inspired that from you.
That fight style.
So, because you actually do that. Like, that's your thing, I feel like.
What's that?
Go in there and try to not get hurt at all.
Yeah.
And just do all the damage.
But I do make peace with it in my mind that, hey, there could be a chance where I can get clipped. And if I get hurt, I got to make sure I am good to know mentally when the tough gets going, like you're going to fight through that. Yeah. And I have to mentally make sure I put myself in that mindset where if that does happen, hey, you're ready to dig deep. You're ready to go. You don't just turn it on. Yeah. You got to have the meditation, the focus, and really dial and lock yourself in for fight day versus training. Training, you can catch a little boo-boo and go, okay, hold on, give me a little second. You get punched in the eye.
Rob leg kicked me. I can't play basketball tonight.
Yeah, exactly. But in the fight, you get those situations, it's kind of like do or die. Like you have to be able to go.
Yeah. So what do you do? Like you sit there and think about like the end result where you're very hurt and like kind of make peace with that, or what does that look like when you're like envisioning it?
I look at like different scenarios of how the fight can go when I'm visualizing the fight, myself winning, myself losing, myself getting caught in submissions, them wailing on me and me needing to cover and show fighter, move, or I'm going to stop this fight. Move, show me something. Show me you're still trying to protect this. Like, I see these scenarios, and how do I come back? And it's like my own Rocky story in my mind, and then I still figure out a way to get it done. And I think that's what fighting really is. But Dom has shown us that, we can fight smart and intelligently, and if the guy is good enough, he's going to be able to stop what you're doing and make you pay. And that's what the fight comes down to. Don't get mad at me because the guy can't hit me. It's not my fault. Yeah. I did my homework. Did you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I look at it like that. But that's why I look at these guys like that. So now these guys are looking at me, and they're preparing to fight me where I'm like, dude, you've had, 5 fights in the UFC?
Plus, like,
I'm supposed to get excited about that?
When you say you've cleared out the division, you're not just talking about your title run. You're talking about your run to get to the title.
Yeah, and even before that.
Yeah, but your whole, you did clear out what was everything that was in front of you to get to where you are now. People are just looking at it while you're in the spotlight, like,
from the Jan fight, the first Jan fight. That's it.
Literally what people think about when they think about your career. So.
They're like, oh, you haven't done anything yet. I'm like, brother, do you even UFC or you just
who's done more is really the question.
yeah, like what?
I'm not even trying to like kiss your ass, but like,
Well, I'm 14-3 in the UFC, and the facts are the facts. And only 3 of those opponents were not ranked. 3. My first 2 opponents, Cody Gibson, Hugo Viana, and I think
Weren't they both undefeated,
Augusto
though?
Mendez. And everybody else was ranked after that.
but your first 2 opponents were undefeated, right?
First 2 opponents?
Or what
No,
was
no,
that
no.
later on when they
Later
fed
on,
you 2 undefeated?
after
guys?
I got
Okay.
knocked out by Mirage,
Then they fed you 2 undefeated guys.
they
right?
fed me 2 undefeated guys in the UFC.
Yeah.
One of them was undefeated entirely, and one of them had a split decision loss, which was Cody Stamen. He was 18-1, I think.
Wow.
And he had 1 loss, split decision. And when I looked him up when we were getting ready to fight, a lot of people said that they thought he won the fight. So I'm like, I'm essentially fighting another undefeated fighter right after a pretty bad knockout loss. So
Boy.
I think that's what you have to look at in terms of motivation, what gets you motivated to want to go out there and compete. And I think it's different for everybody. I'm not saying my way is the best way, but this is what works for me, and this is what helps me get up for these fights. Like even for Cejudo, I couldn't even take the guy serious because he was
yeah.
I'm like, it's a joke thing,
No
you know?
one thought he
It's
was
a joke
actually
thing,
coming
blood.
back.
It's a joke, blood. It's a joke thing to you, eh? So I'm seeing him over here making these stupid, cringy things, and I'm just like, yeah, you're not even in the testing pool. You're over here chirping from the sidelines. Like, you know how bad I want to just slap your face? Like, shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like someone in a relationship, you're arguing with the boyfriend, and then the female's in the back chirping and trying to attack
And it's
you.
like, shut the fuck
and knowing
up.
that no one's gonna actually put their hands on you.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like him. It's like, yeah, you're chirping from the sidelines. Either shut up or get back in the game.
Uh-huh.
Now he's finally in the game, so now we take him serious. And now it's like, now I'm actually excited about the fight. Before it was just a joke thing, blood.
Do you feel like? Do you feel like?
Shout out to UK.
Yeah, thank you. It's a joke thing, blood. Do you feel like? Fuck, dude, you fucked me up. I had a good
Damn,
question.
how many F-bombs you got?
But how many times are you gonna?
You're 3 in right now.
I had a good question. You distracted me.
I distracted you.
Yes.
You distracted yourself, blood.
All right, let's talk about Jon Jones. Damn.
Okay, so my thing is, first right out of the gate, Jon Jones, 3 years off, puts on the weight. It's not the biggest. It's not the most natural for him. I'm pretty sure if he was to like stop lifting, the weight would probably slide off because he's not a natural heavyweight. Not saying that's a bad thing.
Also, he has. Like everyone's raving about how like big he looks, but like I feel like he has a little gut, and there's no more leg. Like there's no more legs than there were before.
Yeah. Do you feel like he's self-conscious about it?
I don't know. I wonder.
Like at the press conference when he was kind of like addressing it, I felt like.
Cause when he responded to it, he was like, he said something along the lines of like, like I wasn't worried about being lean for this fight. Next fight, I'll lean down and you'll see the old Jon Jones.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, okay, he used to come out shredded,
Yeah.
like doing his little walk on 4s. And now he's gonna like have a little gut hanging out, like and Cyryl's like a chiseled in stone Greek statue.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he's more of a natural heavyweight because he's like put together as
Ciryl
a
is.
heavyweight. Yeah. So
Yes.
John's got like that Arthur Jones booty right now.
Yeah, all of it went
Pause.
to his stomach and his ass. Okay, so I was watching videos about this.
But that doesn't mean anything. He can still
But it
move.
kind of does.
No, well, it doesn't because we don't know.
No, here's what I think actually is significant. Let me tell you.
You tell me.
Like you said, Cyryl's a natural heavyweight. He's
Yes.
chiseled, and he's, what is he, 250, 260?
Okay.
Jon has spent the last 3 years coming up to be
Yes.
around that weight, and he's not, like, in the best athletic shape visually. Whereas, like I feel like you look at both of these guys, you think who looks like the better athlete right now? You look at, it's going to be Ciryl. So you have that. You have the 3-year layoff. You have Jon coming up in all this weight. He's never fought at this weight. Ciryl is a trained, I'm going to hurt you killer. That's
Okay.
with striking. Like, this could be a closer fight than people are thinking. Like, I feel like most people think Jon's just going to walk in there and walk through Ciryl because of the wrestling.
If he takes him down early. If he can take him down early.
Yeah. But, like, think about the kicks that Cyryl's going to be landing to his rib cage. Jon's never taken punches like that and kicks like that. The size advantage that Jon might have had with his reach.
Yeah.
That's
he still has the reach advantage.
but not nearly as much. It used to be like way more.
See what it says. I know John is like 85 or something, 85 or 87.
Let me look this up.
But one of the things I like about Ciryl in watching the countdown, he said he's human. He has 2 arms and 2 legs just like me. And I know coming up in the wrestling world, when I was losing to all these guys and then I started to realize I had a mental breakthrough, like these guys are just like me and I'm putting them on a pedestal. And then I finally realized that they're human. They could be beat.
Yeah.
It's just how do I figure out how to beat them and outsmart them and put myself in a position where I am now more skilled or skilled enough to beat these guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Cyryl's mindset is at. The only thing I don't like about Ciryl is those training camp videos that he's been putting out, sparring with these guys that are smaller, not like real wrestlers, and the way he's defending the takedowns by just trying to get away. It's like being in a football field and a guy trying to take you down, or you can juke move him and everything. It's not enclosed. You're not letting him tie up and get in on the leg. Those are the type of like defense drills you got to do in order to get better and see improvements.
Yeah.
You can't just say ready, go, and then play catch the chicken.
Yeah.
That's not effective.
I've never seen you do any drills that look like that.
I let guys start in on the legs. I start in on bad positions. Even when I'm exhausted, I switch partners halfway through the rounds.
Yeah.
I'll do 8 rounds of training. Guys, this is real high-level crap that I'm doing for training to make sure I'm mentally bulletproof in here, where if it gets tough, yo, homie, you've been here how many times in training camp? Get your ass up, cuz. That's the way I like to think.
Don't be cursing.
I don't know if ass is a curse, but
Whatever.
we could believe it. Get your peach up, cuz.
84.5-inch reach for John, 81-inch for Ciryl.
So he still has the reach advantage.
A little bit, but not like 84 to 74 like it was with some of the light heavyweights.
3.5 inches is
It's still something. It's actually incredible.
Yeah.
That John's reach like spans beyond weight classes.
yeah.
Like even against like a guy like Ciryl. Cyryl's 7 pounds heavier too. I think John's gonna win, but I'm just saying like I could see an upset happening, and especially John seems cocky. Am I wrong?
I think cocky and confidence sometimes walk together on a fine line, and you never know which one is which.
So what do you think?
I don't think John is cocky. I think he's extremely confident that the work he has put in versus John is kind of reminds me of myself, and I don't know if I stole this from him or if I just learned this over the years. But I do homework the same way John was like, he doesn't understand people that don't do film study like at all or very little. He's like, no, I need to know my opponents. That's the type of mindset that he has where he's going in, he feels like he's been in there with you already. That's why when I fought TJ, I was like, dude, I felt like TJ was moving in slow motion. I felt like Jan was moving in slow motion the second time. The first time, even though I felt like he was slow, I was even slower because of whatever, not eating, whatever. Like, that's all done. But I study my opponents to the point where I get in there.
Yeah.
It just makes it that much easier to compete. And I feel like John has done that for his entire career where Anthony Smith and Dominic Reyes were even talking about this with the roundtable with DC and Rashad Evans. All 4 guys fought Jon Jones. They all lost.
Wow.
Yeah, this was actually pretty cool.
Wait, I never saw it. Where?
It was today on the ESPN, 6:30 p.m. Pacific came
That's
on.
incredible.
So I got to watch it. It was about 20 minutes. I watched it. It was entertaining. But they talked about how the lack of interest in fighting them where John just did enough to win. Like it was like he didn't really even try. He was just kind of like
Even with DC?
not DC. There was more of a rivalry at stake in that one. So he got something to look forward to. Like this is something that you want to win. Where the other fights were like before he left light heavyweight and vacated for 3 years was Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith. And those were like 2 of his most lackluster performances. It's like kind of didn't even care at that point. He was like, I'm going to win because I'm just that good. And I'm going to show you that I could just, like, this is what they said. They said they felt like he wasn't even trying or really trying to take risk. He just like did the bare minimum.
They said that.
They were saying that pretty much.
Okay. So
Paraphrasing who actually said that.
I want to play devil's advocate on this because like I see a lot of people like articulate this over and over again that they think John is like he wasn't trying for certain fights, like he was uninspired. But like I feel like if anyone else said that besides John, we would call it BS.
Yeah.
And
Anthony Smith said this too.
like I'm not sure I'm like I do kind of believe it, but I'm also think like what if it's not true? What if Dominic Reyes was a huge challenge for him and he Jon, with his big ego, can't even admit that. And now he's coming into Ciryl Gane with the same confident / cocky energy, coming off a fight that was super close. Like, let's look at it from bird's eye view instead of from what Jon's saying it was.
But it's not about what Jon is saying. It's how he actually performed. Did we see spinning elbows? Did we see stepping elbows with him hand fighting and stepping in with the elbows from the clinch? Did we see a lot of oblique kicks? Did we see him doing spinning back kicks? We didn't see him take any risk. Now you look at his other fights where he was inspired, where he was fighting Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua, Rampage Jackson. These are all Killer's Row of people. Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen. These are all people that had big names and have been around the sport for years. So for him, he's the young guy coming up, making his name off of fighting these legends. Jon was the legend killer. All those guys he fought defending the belt, when he fought Shogun, that was for the belt against a legend. Been in Pride, been fighting all around the world. He beats him. He beats Rashad Evans. He beats DC. He beats Vitor. He beats Lyoto Machida, puts him to sleep, just dropped him like a sack of potatoes, bro. Who choked somebody out? The ref said, okay, let him go, and just walks, just drops it. He's like, he knew he put this man to sleep. And that's how dangerous and like of a point Jon wants to prove. He knew Lyoto was sleeping.
So he just dropped him?
No. Well, that too. But even before that, I know he knew he was sleeping when he put that choke on. You know when someone goes limp and you got them and you kind of like just put that extra squeeze on. And then as he finally lets him go, he just like turns his back because he just knows like, yeah, that guy's been sleeping for a while now. Take care of him.
Dang.
Like, that's just cold-blooded.
Okay, yeah. So, again, I'm going to push back. Jon fought a smart fight. This is what you're saying to me. Jon fought a smart fight against Dominic Reyes, and it was this close.
I thought Jon lost that fight.
Okay, so Jon's not taking all these crazy risks and trying to prove a point. He's just fighting a smart fight to win, and it was this close. And
yes.
You're saying you thought he lost the fight?
Yes.
So,
I also thought he lost the fight with Gustafsson.
Does that mean he wasn't trying, or does it mean he just wasn't like inspired to like put on a crazy memorable performance where he's throwing all these crazy attacks?
I think he might have overlooked the challenge in front of him and thought he could have gotten away with the bare minimum. And I've also had this conversation with Chris Weidman, and he's also said the same thing about training. Like, when he just knows that he's just so much better than these guys, he would. And I don't want to make excuses for Weidman. I let him tell his own story, but that's a pretty similar thing where he's like, I started getting injured more and I started doing less. And he told me one thing I could tell you as a former champion is to make sure you continue to do the work that got you there. Mm-hmm. And I never forgot that.
Yeah.
And now the Gustafsson fight, we've seen how close that performance was, and he still had to pull out all the bag of tricks to get to win that fight. Then they have a rematch. What happens? First round, like 2 minutes in, Jon just steamrolls him TKO. And then you can make a couple of things. Oh, Gustafsson wasn't the same anymore, or now Jon's come back and he was more motivated. There's so many variables we don't know.
But there's also been PEDs throughout the career. Which that's overturned now.
Technically, USADA overturned. Okay. I don't know for what that means because I don't know what a picogram means. I don't know if I have picograms in me. I don't know if Marab has picograms. Like, what does that even mean? Like, for the dumb audience like myself who does not understand this, like, how could I even get picograms in my body based on what? Like, so would that mean I had to have taken something? I have no idea.
You know, I got Derek from More Plates, More Dates. So he broke it down and was basically saying Jon had picograms left over in his system, which is evidence that he was doing this. Like, he had some like metabolite, in a small amount that hadn't left his system yet, which is evidence that he was doing stuff because this metabolite doesn't just show up in this amount, even though it's a small amount. It doesn't just show up. Something like that.
Okay, well, that could be fair. I really don't know.
And I might have just butchered that completely, but that was kind of like and I watched this video a long time ago. So
make sure you put the reference in there so people can actually watch the video for themselves.
Link in the description.
I don't want to come off like I'm saying anything about anybody.
No, I mean, I was gonna ask you kind of what you thought about the whole rule change, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of fans are looking at it like, oh, Jon's this wizard, and he's gonna steamroll this guy, and Jon like. Almost kind of like this. It feels to me the same way it felt when Conor was coming back to fight Dustin as a casual fan who didn't understand how good Dustin was at the time.
Yeah.
But I felt like, oh, Conor's just going to walk through this guy. That's how I feel like fans think Jon's gonna walk through Ciryl, but I feel like Cyryl's way more dangerous for Jon than people think.
I know Cyril is dangerous. The only thing I'm saying, if he even slips on the slightest ice cube or banana peel on that slippery canvas, you felt the canvas, right? Have you inside the octagon? Whenever like Marab and I were sparring, and you were filming. I don't know if you ever had your bare feet on that canvas.
It's like tough.
It's like cloth, bro, just sliding.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put water down in order to get traction on your feet. Because it's not like the traditional zebra mats and all these other mats, Resolite mats, Dolomar, whatever. Those mats are so much different compared to the octagon, and people don't get that. So your entire footwork game that could be beautiful in the training room, it's night and day different. So if Gane were to slip at all, Jon ain't going like this, like Kevin Holland tell him to get back up. Jon is going on attack mode. Hey, that's your fault. You're down there. Now deal with it. And that fight could be over just like that. Because I know there's going to be a huge deficiency in that department. It's, can Jon close the distance? Because he's not like light on his feet, bouncing around. He has good distance management, takes his time. He sees everything. He reads your movements. Ciryl Gane's light. He's bouncy, in and out. But can Jon get an underhook? Can he get into a shot? Can he do a jumping side knee, get Ciryl to get on one leg? And now that he's on one leg, he can't move because he's on one foot. So he's now stationary, where now Jon is able to tie him up and catch the chicken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just different ways, and it's all about reactions. How is Ciryl Gane going to react to Jon Jones trying to close the distance? Because we all know, like, if he wants to sit there and kickbox with him, I'm going Ciryl Gane all day. Yeah. I'm not saying Jon can't kickbox. I don't think Ciryl Gane's defense from kickboxing is that great. I think he typically moves out of the way to avoid strikes, just like Tuivasa was able to clap him that one time. Mm-hmm. He gets caught when he stays in there too long. Yeah. Because sometimes he has his chin up and he'll throw his strikes and his chin is up. He's not the most defensively responsible, but he can crack.
Yeah, that's what. So let's say Jon goes in there trying to take him down, fails, and then you get clapped by Ciryl Gane.
We don't know. That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
I'm just like,
we got 3 years of unknown.
Or you get kicked in the liver by Ciryl Gane. You've never taken a shot like that in your life.
3 years of unknown.
And the guys you're training with are not Ciryl Gane. I'm sorry. They're not even close.
But I would say the guys that Ciryl Gane is training with is definitely not Jon Jones.
I'm just saying, like, who's ever hit Jon as hard as someone like Ciryl Gane could hit Jon?
I know Gustafsson tagged him up a couple times,
but
man. Hit him with some ish.
You think he's as strong as Ciryl Gane?
As strong?
As powerful?
No, definitely not. But I'm saying, like, clean strikes, I think Anthony Gustafsson, Alexander Gustafsson, Anthony, wow.
CTE.
That was bad.
Wow.
DC. And DC talked about it too. It's like, yo, I hit Jon. He was like, I hit him with some. I hit him. And he's like, he has the will to win. And that's the difference. I think Jon's mental fortitude is what's going to carry him through this fight. Even with the Gustafsson fight, with the Dominic Reyes fight, even though the Reyes fight wasn't like the Gustafsson fight, because one where he was really busted up and bleeding. The other one, I felt like he was getting outpointed clearly. Even when I go back and I still watch the fight, I'm like, I just don't get how this fight is a clear-cut winner for either side. Yeah. But I felt like if there was a winner, I leaned more on the side of Reyes. And me, Steve, and a bunch of people would watch it, be like, who won this first minute? Okay, who won the second minute of this round? So technically, who won this round? And then we were like, yo, that's crazy. We're actually changing our minds that Reyes actually won this fight. You know, when you break it down like that, You're like, that's how you score a fight, man.
I wish judges could do that. Like, really break it down.
Yeah, they can't. They just watch
They just go off, like, kind of like what they feel in that moment.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's why it's
crazy.
The criteria is so weird that we spent like almost half an hour on Jon Jones. This is
who do you think's going to win?
I got Jones. I think he's done enough work for me to be like, he's still the guy. He's still him.
All right.
He's still him. I feel like you want to lean towards Ciryl.
No, I think Jon's going to win. But I just think Cyryl's going to hurt him too.
Let me just go through this. Jon beat Brandon Vera, Matthew Matashenko, Ryan Bader, Mauricio Shogun Hua, Quentin Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Cormier, Over St. Preux, Alexander Gustafsson again. This time finished him. Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes. Yo, come on, son. Come on, son. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's an insane resume.
He just left them all in the dust.
He left them all on red, bro.
Damn. That's a horrible feeling.
They thought they were getting something. They got left on red. It's foul.
Oh, okay.
Damn, this is going to be a really long one.
I feel like we could just end the podcast on Jon Jones.
Honestly, we could. But just we'll just talk about a couple of fun fights because I don't want to make this too long. The Jon Jones piece is going to be big enough. A couple of cool ones. Like, for me, my sleeper fight on this card is Gamrot versus Jalen Turner.
Yeah. I don't really watch them fight, but I know they're both really good.
Great input. Jalen Turner's last loss was to Matt Favola in 2019 in April.
The boy.
The
Long Island boy.
But then he beat Calabo, knocked him out. He beat Brock Weaver, finished him. Uros Medic finished him first round. Jamie Malarkey, who I thought was a dog, finished him in the second. Brad Riddell finished him in the first round. He's on a tear right now, bro.
We hung out with him in Utah.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Matt Favola, I think he lit a fire under his ass, man.
You think?
I think so. My man was probably like, how the hell did I lose to this guy? He don't sound like that. But
He kind of. Never mind.
he got a high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
When he's, like, animated, like, when he's talking and he's, like, getting into it, he can get a high-pitched voice. But when he's talking regular, he's, like, got a regular. Like, even when I talk like that sometimes. Like, right now, I'm chill. But then when I get excited, I'm like, like my balls in
When guys get excited, we talk like girls.
What? But he's got a good fight with Gamrot.
Did we talk about this on the pod with... Wait, are you still going to talk about Gamrot?
No, I'm saying that's just a fun fight.
That's a good fight. I think you and I talked about it, but not on the pod. Could Bo Nickel beat Hamzat today?
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, we definitely talked about that.
Okay, talk about it again. It's good content.
No. I don't want to talk about that again.
All right.
Let's see how Let's see how Bo Knuckles. I like that. Let's see how Bo Knuckles does this weekend. He's fighting a guy who I didn't know much about, but after watching the countdown, I actually grew a lot of appreciation for him. I was like, damn, this guy is cool as hell.
Savage, yeah.
And he reminded me of myself in terms of like his upbringing, with like the violence and all that nonsense going around.
Your upbringing in South Carolina?
No, my upbringing in New York, Long Island, the boogie down.
Back road living.
Ain't no boogie down Bronx, but it's a boogie down. So
what the hell does that mean?
We get it in, some of us at least. So that's a fun fight. You know, Bo Knuckles is only 3-0, and Jamie Pickett is 13-8.
Oh,
so,
dang.
So, and even my thing with Knuckles is he don't need to strike with these guys to prove a point. He can literally do the very bare minimum, get you to overcommit, and the moment you overcommit is when he's going to get inside with a reactive takedown, take you down, and then use his world-class top game from wrestling, mix in with his newfound skill set in jiu-jitsu.
Wrecked.
Could be
1 minute finish. What do you think? He hasn't in his 2 contender fights, he didn't even make it to a minute before he subbed the guys.
Nah, I feel like the second fight was longer than that, no?
No, here's the stat. In his 2 contender series fights, the total time was under 2 minutes. And he had 2 finishes.
Wow, this is true.
So
I thought Donovan Beard lasted longer than that, but nah.
Do you think Bo can do it again?
Nah, not again. Pickett. I feel like Pickett got something to prove, man.
Yeah, what if he knocks him out?
That would be crazy. But Pickett's 34. His current streak, he's on 2-fight losing streak. Dennis on Tuolilin and Kyle Dawkins. Rear naked choke. Darce choke and knee to ground and pound strikes. So we see some deficiency there that he has been submitted. He gets taken down. I think it's going to be closer to, I don't know, man.
I'm just like, Bo could probably
first
take
round.
him down.
I'm going to say probably first round.
Yeah.
I do like Pickett, though. Just his story. He seems like a really cool dude, chill dude.
I'm like, why'd they have to give him the fight?
Yeah.
It's sad. How about Cody?
Cody Garbrandt back.
You think he can do it?
Trying to rise from the ashes like the Phoenix.
He's
31 now. Wow.
I have a question.
Remember, he won the belt at 26.
He's a youngin. Dang,
He's
what are you?
31
You're
now.
old. You're older than him?
So I'm older than him.
That's crazy.
He's on a 2-fight skid right now.
I thought it was more than 2 fights.
He was on a 3-fight skid. Then he beat Rafael Sunsao by knockout. The crazy sock. Look at my socks. Knockout punch off the cage.
I've seen this.
And then he lost to Font by decision, and then Kai Kara France at 125, which he had no business going down to 125. Even though he was really light, he was walking around like the 145. He could have definitely made it, but I feel like maybe early in his career, not later in his career.
Especially if you've got like a chin problem already. Why suck the life out of you? Pause.
That too, but the other side of it is he went 5 rounds with Rob Font. And he didn't get knocked out. I mean, he got stunned a couple times, but he didn't look like the glass chin that people have been saying.
Okay.
So that makes me feel like maybe 35 was just better for him. But then he went to 25, and it obviously went way faster being clipped by a 125er and going out like that.
That quick hands. I mean, but he said his life was in shambles before that fight. Like he had moved out of his house. He got a divorce. That week.
Everything was going on.
I'm like, you couldn't put that off a week.
Yeah.
Or like do it before camp.
Yeah, but you can't put off a divorce and all that if you're.
I'm just like, hey, can we put a pin in this, honey? I gotta go fight, and then we'll come back to this.
Yeah, that's the way it would be. It would be nice if that was a thing, but
just hang out right there. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but do you think? I mean, obviously that had to actually affect him.
Yeah, of course.
You bring that into the fight.
But see, I just think people deal with stress so differently, man. Like, I was dealing with getting kicked out of my house, being bullied in my house, like legit having to go to practice. This is when my mom got kicked out of. Well, she left the house, and then that started like the whole thing. My dad went to court and was saying all kinds of crazy. Like, I got my own problems going on, but for me being bullied in my house to the point where I was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm fighting. Got big fights coming up. These guys know I got big fights coming up. And having to channel that and put it on the back burner and compartmentalize all these things and then still go out there and win. And people don't even have the slightest clue of all the nonsense I'm dealing with behind the curtains. But me, I'm just excited to be here and do what I love. So I feel like I've dealt with so much adversity in my life growing up, from the shit talking, the bullying in school, getting in fights. To a certain degree.
With that hair?
Definitely not.
I mean, I could see
no one was going to bully this
the
hair.
broccoli head.
But like from elementary school to middle school, high school, not as much. But those earlier years, you got to grow up to have tough skin in Uniondale and Roosevelt, where I grew up in, you know. So I feel like I've been able to deal with more. And Quinta always jokes, she's like, I feel like you thrive in the chaos. Because like most people would have self-destructed already.
Dude, I say that's your superpower. Like when like the whole world is like going to shit, you're just like winning championships. Like
it's I don't know what it is. I just feel like I just like to prove people wrong. There's something like a satisfaction, like someone trying to tell you can't do something, and you want to just prove that. Don't you ever put your insecurities on me to try to tell me what I'm capable of doing because you can't do it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's so for him, it could be completely different. Maybe he's not used to having that. Maybe he was surrounded by a lot more love with his family. I know he got into a lot of street fights, but so I'm not saying he didn't grow up tough, but I think people just handled that stress factor a little bit different, you know?
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to fighting with that type of stress.
Yeah, like trying to help my mom go to court and do all these things while I'm getting ready for a fight. It's like during my fight week and things like that. It's just like these are things people would never
making much money at that time.
Yeah, so it is what it is, man. But we'll see what happens. He's fighting Trevin Jones, man. I like Trevin too. I never trained with him. I've trained with Cody one time. So I felt awkward. I actually saw Trevin Jones at the PI. I'm like, I know he probably saw the picture. I don't know if he follows me or not, but I'm pretty sure people, because I saw people reposting, Sterling and Cody training.
Yeah, it was like
a
thing.
So he probably thought like maybe I'm like training him against him. Like, yeah, I got no friends in this. I'm an innocent bystander.
You were just in a class.
Yeah,
like
and he was like the best guy and my size for me to drill with. So I didn't get hurt, so he didn't get hurt. So it actually worked out.
Cody's on -175 favorite. That's a pretty sizable.
Well, when it comes to the striking, I definitely think he has the advantage. Trevin's not the greatest striker. He's a little rigid, but he hits hard when he connects. Cody's gonna be faster. And if Trevin gets frustrated and lets Cody play his game of like the way he fought Rafa, using more footwork, taking his time, using his jab, that could be a tough fight for Trevin. But if Trevin could get the fight to the ground, that's where he's a specialist. I think he's going to have the advantage on the ground. But when it comes to the wrestling, Cody's going to have the wrestling advantage. Trevin doesn't have the takedowns to get Cody to the ground. So it's got to be something where he actually has to clip him, get him hurt, and try to look for a takedown like that. I don't think he's taking him down with a straight-on pop, 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 1, 2, 3 combination, shooting in, taking him down. I don't see Trevin Jones hitting nothing that pretty like that.
Interesting.
It's going to have to make it a dogfight. And I think if he can make it a dogfight, he can maybe force Cody to get reckless, which we have seen in the past. Yeah. And if Cody gets reckless, Trevin hits hard enough where he could knock him out. And not because what people think he has a glass chin. It's just he's dropped people. He can crack. Trevin hits. He's a big dude. He's as big as me, and no one's calling him a weight bully. I've seen Trevin Jones outside of fight camp. He is huge, bro.
Interesting. I've never seen him.
Like 170 huge. I'm like, yo, bro. They say I'm the weight bully. What do you call that?
Who says you're a weight bully? O'Malley?
Nah, what's that guy? Cheetos. Yeah.
Who?
Cheeto.
Oh, that guy.
Cheetos, right? I don't know. Other couple fun fights, just a couple notables we'll put out there. Derek Brunson taking on Dricus du Plessis. That's a good fight. Probably a changing of the guards if du Plessis can beat Derek Brunson.
Dude.
39 years old, Brunson.
That guy's also, du Plessis looks like a freak athlete.
Yeah.
Which, physique determines outcomes of fights. So.
And he's actually more African than Derek Brunson, bro.
Interesting.
He's from South Africa.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Amanda Ribas versus Viviane Araújo. That's a good fight. Marquez.
Haven't they fought before?
I don't know.
I feel like they fought.
Are you looking at it right now?
I'm looking.
Nope.
No.
You just made up a whole story.
I just see these two.
Wow.
I feel like I see these names all the time. These two fight a lot.
Julian Marquez versus Marc-Andre Barriault. That should be a good fight. I don't know which way that's gonna go.
Ian Machado, Gary.
Ian Machado. Is his real name Machado?
I don't know.
Did they just add that in there because it was cool?
I mean, that would be the only person they've ever done that for.
Machado. I'm gonna ask him, like, yo, so what's up with this Machado thing? Like, are you an actual Machado? Is that your middle name? I don't get it. Versus Kenan Song. That should be a good fight. What is he, Chinese? He's 32.
It's a good old Chinaman.
Yeah, he lost his last one to Max Griffin, too. So this should
Ian got to finish his last fight, I think.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is Kenan Song.
Yeah,
Kenan Song.
No, I'm just adding that.
No, his last one was a decision, bro.
Oh.
Stop telling the people lies. He's got 2 decisions in a row.
I don't even know why I'm on this podcast because I don't know anything.
His UFC debut, though, he got to finish over Jordan Williams.
Okay.
Mana Martinez versus Cameron Simon. That's going to be a good fight at bantamweight. Simon, undefeated. I think he's like 22. Let me check so I'm not speaking. 22 on the dot.
He's my age.
South African, more African than me, kind of, sort of.
Yo, 22-year-olds are dominating.
But this is what I'm talking about. You think I'm getting excited to fight Cameron Simon?
No.
Like, the UFC told me tomorrow, you're fighting I'm like,
I mean.
So you want me to go through the gauntlet to fight a kid with no resume?
Good pay-per-view. Like, good, just probably easy day. No offense to him, but.
No, the kid's talented.
But you're the champ. Like.
But it's just, I don't get excited for a fight like that.
So what excites you? Names?
Names.
Like getting more famous kind of thing? Or
it's not getting more famous. Like it's names
beating, yeah. Okay.
Because you get more out of that, in my personal opinion. Like long term. Like I want to be able to be done, and when I'm retired, I could be like, man, I fought this guy, I fought that guy, I fought the best of the best.
Yeah.
Fight a guy who's only had 2 fights, I'm like, come on, son. It's like when I look at people's record and they're like, oh, he's 20-0, and I look at who they fought, and I just look at you like, you serious? You're 20-0. You fought a guy. You fought a combined record of 20 opponents of like 5 and 30.
It's like
and I'm supposed to be impressed.
it's like Tommy Fury,
I'm not impressed.
but Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul.
Yeah, man, I don't get impressed that easy. You know,
Yeah,
because I actually do my research. Because I'm a fight fan. I don't just go, oh, he's look at the record. But most casuals, they look at the record and like, oh, you must be pretty damn good.
I don't. I'm like when a guy says, "Oh, I'm fighting this undefeated guy," I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, okay."
But see,
Everyone's undefeated.
The reason why they say that is because that's what impresses people.
But I'm just like, okay. I don't know. I'm like, I just know how it works. Like,
Exactly.
I've seen behind the curtain.
But even for myself, it's like I see how it works as well
Yeah.
by seeing the level of competition that you fight, and then when you finally step up and you have a hard time, it's like that kid who just fought.
I'm undefeated.
The kid who just fought on Nas's card, and he was like, he fought Jamal Emmers. He was like 16-0. He's got like 4 million followers. The UFC's making a big deal out of this thing. Him and his twin brother.
4 million.
Yeah,
Where is he from?
He made his UFC debut. He fought on Nas's card February 18th, like 2 weeks ago. And he came in with a ton of hype. And bro, his skill set did not reflect someone who was 16-0 or whatever the heck he was.
Followers?
Yeah, and that's
I
not
don't
being
think Kamaru
disrespectful.
has that many followers.
What I'm saying is you could tell the guy hasn't fought like high level competition on his circuit to get to the UFC. Because if he had, I feel like that 16-0 would have been a lot more dangerous against a guy like Jamal Emmers, who was kind of a guy that he was supposed to beat. Like, let's be honest,
Did
the
he
UFC
lose?
makes these matchups. Jamal Emmers won. It was a big upset.
Dang.
So after the first 2 minutes, I was like, I don't think this guy is who he says he is, or this guy is who the people says he is. He might not, believe in the hype. But
That's like a thing though. That like that happens a lot. Is like guys will pad their record in like the regional scene.
Yeah,
and just to get to the UFC, and then they're underprepared.
exactly.
Like
And
you
it's
don't
like Jon
have to
Jones
be
said.
undefeated to get here.
How'd you do in your homework? Like, did you do your homework to get the best results for the exam, which is going to be the fight?
I didn't do my homework, and I'm undefeated.
So that's just even saying like I want the fights that with the big names and the people who are going to get me excited. Like even like Umar, he's a big name in the sense of like he just has a huge following, but he hasn't done anything for me to be like, I can't wait to fight him. It's like, okay, when you make through the gauntlet and you earn it, or the UFC puts you there by default because they say, oh, we can't get him a ranked opponent. Okay, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for now, it's like, yeah, I would like to fight him when the time is right, when it's like, oh, this makes sense.
No,
This is an exciting fight.
that makes sense.
Like, it could still be an exciting fight. It's just, for me, I'm like, I get nothing out of it. You get more out of it than I do. Like, you beat me is more better for you. It's way more better.
Right. If
better
you
for
fight,
him.
if you guys fight like today,
Yeah.
he gets way more out of it than you.
Like, he beats me.
If he
It's
beats
huge.
a couple more guys.
I beat
and then-
him.
Yeah.
Oh, you beat this guy. He only had 3 fights. I'm like, you guys, there's no winning.
Yeah.
And this is why I want to fight the guys who
It's
are
not
proven
about
and tested.
it's not about who's the most skilled guy. That guy should be fighting for the title. It's not like who beat the right guys and the right amount of guys in a certain order to get to that point where they can challenge you. You know? Like earn that challenge.
And that's why I think Umar is going to be a scary guy for a lot of people, because he's got the aura of him already with the Khabib effect, the Islam effect, the Dagestani wrestler effect. And I think he's going to eventually become a world champion. But I think for right now, we got to make sure he not passes his test, but he's got to have a couple more fights to kind of show that he is what he believes himself to be, which I'm sure he has no problem doing that. I know he's just having a hard time getting an opponent.
Fight,
Yeah.
But
that's not his fault.
I mean, do you think he's a little overrated for what he's actually done?
No, I think all his fights have shown a lot of promise outside of the one with Nate Maness. That one was kind of like weird for me. I was like, I thought you were going to come in and kill this guy. And then it was really, not really close, but it was kind of like safe, really safe, and really just really safe. I think that's the best way to put it. It was just really safe.
Yeah.
And it was dominant that he took him down and kind of just chilled in the guard. And I was like, I guess.
Okay, but then the last fight too, you were saying
It was the first round knockout.
Until the knockout, it was it didn't look like he was doing anything that crazy, and Barcelos was able to like keep up with him. You know?
Yeah, but
then he got the knockout.
But then he got the knockout.
Yeah.
So it's like, but that's how fights are. It's like 1 minute you're winning, next minute you're not, and you're staring at the ceiling and looking at the lights and asking, where are you? That's the fight game, man.
Couldn't be me. That's all I'm saying.
Jessica Penne taking on Tabitha Ricci. I don't think Penne has fought in a while. I know she had a whole thing with USADA as well before, if I'm not mistaken. She hasn't fought since Emily Ducati, since 2022. Okay, and before that, she hasn't fought. Oh, well, she's been a little more active, more than I thought. Okay, 2017, she didn't fight until 2021.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, for whatever reason. I forget exactly. Yeah,
Jessica Penne was in
The Ultimate Fighter.
But we saw her
At the PI.
at the PI, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
Bashrat Farid is taking on Daman Blackshear, who was once upon a time the Cage Fury champ.
Those guys are good, the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like Javed's last fight, he looked like really like, not like the way he handled that guy's like blitzing at him
Yeah.
was very like.
Javid is
like, oh,
tough,
that's
man.
impressive.
Farid is tough as well. Both really good guys.
They're both in your weight class. Dang.
They're going to have to fight each other. What are they going to do?
They can't fight each other.
They can fight each other. They want me and Morale to fight the people, right? So
Yeah,
why
but you're
can't
not blood brothers.
We're blood brothers.
Did you
Look at it.
Did you
Look at
cut
my
your
blood.
Did you cut your hand and shake hands with me?
Yes.
I would do that.
We're blood brothers now.
I want Marab's blood. in
My
me.
blood and your blood is unstoppable.
I'm Aljo.
Yeah. Oh, this guy lost to Danny Sabatello.
Huh?
No, the Damon Blackshear guy
Yeah.
lost to Danny Sabatello.
Oh no.
He lost to Chris Montinho and
Danny
Pat
Sabatello
Sabatino.
could beat you, bro.
Yo, I would wax that guy something sick. I would wax him and wax off until Karate Kid new season come out. Like, that guy is ultimate cheeks.
Cobra
bro.
Kai. You watch Cobra Kai?
No,
Dude, Cobra Kai is great.
I watched the original, bro,
So do I.
but I never watched the.
But you don't want to see Daniel San coach his daughter, who's kind of cute.
It was kind of cute. I'm good,
All right. It's your loss.
but yeah, there's gonna be some good fights, man. I'm excited for this. We're gonna be in the building. Well, I'm gonna be. I don't know about Jake. I only got 2 tickets, man. I'm sorry.
What happened to bros before girlfriends?
Before fiancés,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's always been a rule in life.
yeah, bros before hoes, but this ain't quite the.
I didn't call her hoe.
Yeah, I know, because you would never.
I said bros before girlfriends.
But it's not a girlfriend. It's my
Bros
fiance.
before fiancés. What happened to that, Aljo?
It's never been
huh?
a thing.
What happened to that?
It's never been a thing.
It's a thing.
It's never been a thing.
You could either give your fiance a great night or your camera guy, and you chose her. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I think so.
I don't understand this.
I like how that night ends versus a night with you. Like, what?
Dude, what? I'm a good time.
I bet you are. Just
Ask-
not for me.
Ask Marab.
Just not for me. A whole lot of pauses.
yo,
gonna be in this.
Did you want to maybe talk about Darren Till?
Nah.
Okay. I just thought that might be a good clip.
I mean, Darren Till did what he thinks is best for him.
Would you ever ask the UFC to release you?
No.
That
Unless
part.
they're gonna keep me, unless they're not gonna keep me active. If they're gonna keep me active, why am I asking for you to release me?
I don't know if I believe that. If that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we should leave it alone.
He's still a big name,
Yeah.
but he's
Like-
got some things he needs to work on. Look at Edmund Shabazian. He took a year off and came back and had a really good fight in his next showing and showed that he's made some improvements on the ground.
But did he have to leave the roster?
No, he just took a whole year off.
That's what I'm saying. So Darren Till's saying, I gotta leave. I got stuff going on out here. I'm making some big moves. So I gotta leave the roster to go make this happen. Then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, that sounds like some McGregor-ish right there.
I'm just like, this doesn't either. It just sounds like not true. It's not believable.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to take the McGregor's protocol supplements, but I don't even know what's the point of that.
That could be it.
But for what? He's not like he's got a catastrophic injury,
Just to get jacked, bruh.
but it's not going to help him learn how to wrestle. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the point of that? That's why I'm just like, if Darren Till crazy enough to think that the Conor McGregor protocol supplements is going to help him become a better fighter and not improve his and improve his skill deficiency in the grappling department, then he's so far delusional. Then I don't even know what to tell the guy.
Or he just
but I don't
wants
think
to,
he's
like,
that crazy to
come
think
back
that.
with like extra dynamite in the hands, you know?
Then that's still delusional to think that that's the reason why you lost those fights. The reason you lost those fights is because you can't get up off the ground and you can't stop the takedown. And if once you can stop the takedown, you are a force.
Well, one time I took the McGregor's protocol and I magically knew how to wrestle. Like, it was crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, like I would have been able to beat you in a wrestling match, just because of this.
Just because of the
juice.
size difference.
No, just it made me feel like a wrestler.
That's
You know?
exactly what it is. I knew you were onto something.
Yeah, no, like that's. I mean, I think Darren Till, like, he's got the magic potion that's gonna make him a champion.
Listen,
He
man,
could beat Izzy.
I'm just saying, best of luck and most happiness to go Darren Till's way. I like seeing all fighters do well. Unfortunately, when you meet all these guys, you do know that they're gonna cross paths, and eventually someone's got to lose. That's just how the game goes. And may the better man or better woman win. That's more prepared for the exam.
And it's like, it's just like basketball. It's like eventually Aljo's weakness is gonna show and he's gonna lose.
These guys win one game, don't not act.
2 games, my guy.
These guys win 2 pickup basketball games.
Me
and
and some physical therapist at the PI lapped him up yesterday twice.
Lapped us up.
Washed you, mopped the floor with you.
What was the score of the second game?
15-14.
So how'd you lap us up?
No, because here's why.
And we supposed to play win by 2. These guys was like, nah, this game.
No. Listen. Ryan and I, who's a physical therapist, not a pro athlete. Neither of us are pro athletes. Ryan and I took we beat him. We beat his team 15-6 in the first game, right? Then we're kind of gassed, right? So Aljo and his teammate who carried him the whole way. Aljo knows about backpacks. His other teammate scores like 10 points and we scored 2. But then we were kind of chilling. Like we were just trying to get our energy back. Our energy comes back and then we go on a 13-4 run and we end up winning 15-4.
I missed a lot of shots.
So we washed the floor with you in the second half of that game. And we washed the floor with you in the entirety of the first game. And just overall throughout the night.
Well, I've never
You
played
were
with
the mop
Taylor.
that we used to clean the floor.
I've never played with Taylor.
And I never played with Ryan. Ryan never played with me.
Yeah, but Ryan can actually shoot. See, you see this flick on my wrist? I'm just saying. That's all I got, guys. This is it.
I'm just saying, like you said, someone has to lose at some point. Not everyone can win. And you lost.
We're going to play again.
So, I had strep throat.
You guys think
and
I could
still
sit here and
washed
allow
your
this?
ass.
You guys think I could sit here and allow this man to gloat in front of me?
Oh, my God. You
think-
should hear how he talks when he beats me in pool.
You should. You
This
guys
man will-
think I
this
would
man will
allow
scratch,
this?
hit the 8-ball in 4 times, and then say I never beat him. But then he'll win one game and he'll post it on Instagram for his 500,000 followers.
What? I just beat you in like 4 games in a row, bro.
Yeah, but before that, you would just do
And
all
I
that
wasn't
petty
just
stuff.
beating you. I was waxing you.
Waxing.
Waxing.
Nah, that's violation.
Waxing, bro.
Maybe in one of the 4
You got
games.
straight up Brazilian.
But you won't even play me in ping pong is the problem.
Yeah, because I'm not playing something I'm not good at. Like, what?
I'm not good at pool. I play you. It's for fun.
Nah, it's not.
And then you
I
act
play to
like it's
talk
the
shit.
Olympics, bro.
I play to talk
You
shit.
act like Henry.
Yeah, so I'm
Just-
not getting in there unless it's something that I'm decent at. Or that I like playing. I don't like playing ping pong because I suck at it.
God forbid Aljo ever loses another UFC fight. It's just going to be excuses. The whole time. God forbid. This guy doesn't like to... He doesn't take losing very well. That's all I'm saying. You get beat by your camera guy and you just fall apart mentally. But
You
it's
know
fine.
what?
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll let you guys know when we have this rematch and see what happens. Just tell them who beat you in the 1-on-1 again.
You.
All right. No, I thought.
But you had
I
the
thought
game.
So.
You had the game like rigged in your favor.
I thought so.
Like
We played a 15. They said when we just played a 15.
No, but let's play to 7
No,
in our next one.
that's not a real game.
Why?
Bro. Who plays to 7?
7? Let's just play.
You can easily go on a quick run, and then that could just be the game. No,
Yeah, it's when I'm not. You just want me to gas out so you have an easy time scoring.
no, 'cause I'm not gonna play a 5-minute game.
No, we'll play a best. We'll play a best of 3 to 7.
Nah,
Yeah, that's more fair.
nah,
Because I'll still get tired.
No.
Just in the other games.
nah.
See, you guys, he has to tilt the scales in his favor. Whatever. It's like a casino. I can't really win in the long term.
It's a good analogy.
But, and to all you guys who are talking smack about my podcasting skills, I'm not a good podcaster. I know it. But what are you going to do about it?
You guys hurt his
I'm
feelings.
here doing it.
You guys hurt his feelings.
All you guys are anonymous commenters.
Hurt his feelings even more. Get in the comments and hurt this man's feelings because he's gonna talk to me about it. Oh, did you see that comment? Oh,
No, what I screenshot them and laugh.
I can't believe he says this about me.
Wow, this is blasphemy.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Wow.
See you at the fights.
No, you won't.